Welcome everyone. Delighted that you could join us again. I am here at Untitled in Spain, where we have plenty of sunshine. You may notice my suntan as I speak. The weather is just glorious here. We are delighted that you could join us once again today. And what I'd like to do is just to invite you to go to our website, AGMM International, ITNL, and there you will find all the information that I'm about to share with you. Our membership is still open. We have application form now, so whoever wants an application form, please just go to the website and you'll be able to see the membership benefits explained there on the site. The registration for the Sewing and Health Country Living is now accessible also on the website, and it starts tomorrow for 3 weeks, £90. And I believe that there is a discount for those of you who are new members to AGMM. The Women's Health Talk Show is also about to start on the 10th of June. And we also have a cooking demonstration, a cooking course that will be starting soon. So again, please look for more information on the website. And I should say to you that really the Lord is blessing us. And next week, Sunday, by God's grace, we hope to have Dr. Jim Sharps of IIOM. That is the International School of Original Medicine. He has agreed to come onto our show. We have James Luke and so on. So there are some very good speakers lined up to appear on this platform. So we trust that you will be able to continue to stay with us by God's grace. Let's just bow our heads as we begin today. Father in heaven, we give you thanks and praise for your goodness. We thank you for your love. And we just want to thank you, God, for the interest in health at this time of the COVID crisis. We just want to thank you, Father, that we can see that the death rate around the world is decreasing significantly, and people are able to get up and about once again, but we still need to be careful. And above all, we need to protect ourselves. We need to build our immune systems. We need to ensure that we're eating right, sleeping right, doing all the right things so that we can stay healthy. And so this is what this platform is all about, God, teaching people how they can look after themselves so that they can navigate their way through this particular crisis. So God, we invite your presence to be with all those who will present today, be with our host, Michelle, and all the other presenters. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Well, beloved, it's my pleasure this morning to hand you over to our host, Michelle Hall, and she is right there, of all places, in London.
Hello. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Good morning. Welcome to AGMM Holistic Health and Country Living Show. Today we have Dr. Gandhi Mazzalo, and he'll be speaking to us about developing a healthy lifestyle for the entire family. We have Brother Noel Fender, who will be talking to us about the importance of a healthy breakfast. Then Sister Davina will be showing us how to prepare a healthy breakfast. Then we have Nicola Newsu, and she's a teacher who will be giving us homeschooling from a teacher's perspective. Let's see.
We can hear me now. Yes, we can hear you.
Over to Uncle Sam, who will be introducing Dr. Gandhi Mazzalo.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just delighted to be able to welcome Dr. Gandhi Mazzalo to this platform. We go back a long way. I was Dr. Gandhi's pastor in South Africa, Santon Church. And I remember, Dr. Gandhi, when you first expressed the desire to do your bachelor's degree, and we were doing everything that we could to try and help you. And, you know, back in that day, I never imagined that I would one day be calling you Dr. Gandhi. Isn't that amazing? but it's a testament to your tenacity. You had a goal in mind and you stayed with it for years in spite of all the difficulty, in spite of the hardship. You had a goal and you have pursued it, and we're just so delighted that you could be on this platform today. Dr. Gandhi is coming to us from the Seychelles at the moment, but he is from Malawi. He is currently working there in the Seychelles, but he is a medical missionary trainer. So he trains people who would like to be medical missionaries, and that's what he's doing now in the Seychelles, training medical missionaries. He is a wellness coach. He is a nutrition therapist and alternative medicine practitioner. Dr. Gandhi has 3 daughters. He has worked on corporate wellness programs, nurses wellness educator for lifestyle diseases. He has appeared on TV and on the radio. Dr. Gandhi, you've also written a book. I know you sent the book to me, or I bought it from Amazon, but I just cannot remember what it was called. But when you come on, you will tell the saints what that book was. Dr. Gandhi has also appeared in health evangelism programs and as a training facilitator in Southern African countries, South Africa, Zambia, Swaziland, Botswana, Zimbabwe, all the countries I'd love to go to, Gandhi. You've been there. Wonderful, wonderful. So we welcome you this morning to this platform, and may God bless you as you speak to us this morning.
Thank you very much, Pastor Sam and everyone on the team. Again, let me say good morning to all of you. It's afternoon in the Seychelles Island, but I have to say good morning for your sake and welcome to the class. Allow me to start by my memory verse from the Bible. That is 3 John verse 2. It's just one chapter, 3 John verse 2. It says, "Beloved, I pray above all things that you may prosper and be in health, just as your soul prospers." And I have learned for the past 15, 16, 17 years, working as a nutritional therapist, as a lifestyle counselor, working in wellness centers, that of all the temporary blessings that we have this side of heaven, nothing can surpass good health. You enjoy your family when you have good health. You can enjoy riding a bicycle when you have good health. But there's no way you can enjoy driving a Mercedes-Benz when you have a gout and arthritis, when you are feeling it in your fingers and you're feeling it in your toes. You know, you can enjoy eating broccoli when you are in good health. You cannot enjoy eating a chicken when you are battling your own oxygen. So everything in life, we enjoy it only when we have a measure of good health. Health is wealth. Health is a treasure that most people don't appreciate until the day when they lose it. And we have seen this from time to time. But this morning, I would like to share with you, how can you start a healthy lifestyle as a family? How do you develop a healthy lifestyle as a family? I remember back in 1999 when I was trying to change my lifestyle. It was not as easy maybe as it can be today. I was still living with my parents, and the information I had then about health and wellness, it's not the same knowledge that I have today. So it was a challenge. I remember one time I stopped drinking Coca-Cola because I understood it was unhealthy, but I was still drinking Sprite because I thought it was healthier. You know, sometimes I would drink Fanta. I say, this is Fanta orange. I never knew there were no oranges in the Fanta back then. It was just another fizzy drink. But today you can come to the island, you find me drinking coconut water. That's the only drink that I take, you know, from the market. So knowledge is also progressive as you try to change your lifestyle. You improve from Where you used to be last year to this year, and maybe next year, you may be even better than it was previously. But now, suppose you're a family and you say, we want to change our lifestyle as a family. What do you do? Where do you start? People like to change their lifestyles for different reasons. Some people, they want to change their lifestyle or they want to live a healthy lifestyle because they are battling with a chronic condition. It could be diabetes, high blood pressure, tiredness, candida, hormonal imbalances. One of those things can be a motivation for someone to change their lifestyle. But some people, they also want to change just because maybe they want to lose weight. Some, they want to change because it is now fashionable. Everybody's changing. Everybody's trying to eat healthy. Let me also do the same. Some, they change their lifestyle maybe because of the pandemics. We are living in the time of COVID-19. We all want to have a strong immune system. Someone may become health conscious. I want to start living healthy. But how can you really change? How do you make that change possible for yourself and, of course, for your family? Of course, number one, you need to have a good reason why you want to change your lifestyle. You need to have a solid reason why you want your family to be healthier. So if the only reason for me to change my lifestyle is because I want to fit in that shirt which I bought in China, which is now becoming tight, so I want to lose weight, that is not a solid motivation, because after you have lost weight and you can now fit into size 0, what next? Do you stop exercise? Do you go and eat a chicken again? Do you go and look for another container of margarine? You need to have a solid reason for changing your lifestyle as a family. The best way to start is to count the cost of living unhealthy. See what you are going to lose if you are going to battle from a chronic condition one of these days. Consider the agony that one has to go through if they are battling with cancer that could have been prevented by living a healthier lifestyle. Consider the pain of someone who may not be able to do his job again because he is incapacitated. For example, if you are diabetic, you go through amputation, you can't use that leg one more time. You can't use your hand one more time because it is now removed because of a diabetic condition. Consider the danger of having a stroke, having poor memory, being always tired and unproductive. And then also consider what you may benefit physically and spiritually if you decide to live a healthy lifestyle. Just to think how you may enjoy life, how you may be able to do more things, how you may be a blessing to your children, to your wife and to your husband, to friends, even to the church, if you have a measure of good health. Even if you have to do evangelism, you need to go door to door. It's hard to do that if you're battling with arthritis, battling with diabetes, or you're battling with any disease that compromises your strength, compromises your energy and anything that you may need in order for you to be able to do your work. But all that I've said, it is still not enough to make someone to think of changing their lifestyle. I have learned over the years that what you believe is more powerful than what you know. What you believe is more powerful than what you know. Yes, you need knowledge. You need to know how you can do exercise, maybe how many hours to sleep, what to eat for breakfast, lunch, and supper. But knowledge alone is not powerful enough to change our habits. It is what we believe that actually changes our behavior and our habits. I'll just give you some few examples. You have seen medical doctors who know everything about smoking, but what happens? They still smoke to death. because knowledge alone that cigarettes can damage your lungs, can cause liver cancer, can cause esophageal cancer, knowledge alone cannot change you. You have seen nurses who actually drink alcohol. They have gone to the College of Nursing. They know everything about how bad alcohol is, but they drink like a fish until they die of alcohol. So you can see that knowledge alone that cannot change you and is not powerful enough to change you. But what you believe, because your belief systems are the hierarchy of your mind, where you make decisions, where you make choices, what you believe is more powerful than what you know. I'll also give you some examples. You have seen some Muslims, they don't eat pork, but they don't understand anything about how dangerous pork is. All they believe is that I am a Muslim, I don't eat pork. And no matter how delicious you can cook your bacon, they will never taste it because they believe they cannot eat that. And someone who may know how bad pork is from the scientific point of view may still eat the bacon, may still eat the pork until all the worms are now reacting in the body. You know, when you have eaten enough pork, you may end up having a lot of uric acid, having gout and arthritis. We call it the revenge of the pork. You know, so someone with scientific knowledge may eat pork until pork starts revenging in your stomach, because you don't win the battle when you are eating animals. Animals will always revenge. You know, you eat a chicken, you die together. Eat enough hybrid chickens, you get stomach cancer one of these days, all of you go to the grave. It's a no retreat, no surrender kind of a battle. That's why the best way to win the war, leave the chicken alone, leave the cow alone, leave the pig alone. You may live longer than the pig because you have actually preserved your health. So yes, healthy living to be powerful, it must be part of our belief system. I believe my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And I believe the Holy Spirit dwells in me. And because of that, I've got a stewardship responsibility to take care of this body temple. This is the powerful motivation that I have that has helped me to change so many things over the years. Things that I struggled in the past. I remember even when I was a student studying nutrition medicine, I used to eat like a cow. We call it grazing. You know, I was eating healthy snacks, but every 1 hour I've got almonds in the mouth. I've got cashew nuts in the mouth. You know, the next hour is a rice cake with avocado. I don't know what was happening in the stomach. But you see, because I thought eating was about me, you know, I need to eat this healthy stuff so I can have good health or I can have whatever. But when I realized my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, I began to respect even the eating times. So today I eat 2 meals a day, you know, breakfast around 10 o'clock and my lunch, dinner around 4 o'clock. And then I even wonder, how come I was able to eat 6 times a day? When I am eating only 2 meals a day, I'm full like a fool, but I am so healthy than ever before. So yes, we need to have that belief system that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and that is the powerful motivator than trying to lose weight, than trying to fight COVID-19, than trying to dodge diabetes, than trying to dodge cancer. The most powerful motivation is to glorify God. Now, another challenge is when you try to change your lifestyle. I've seen this with so many people. When I'm counseling them and we say, you know what, you need to stop eating this and that and that and that. And then they realize they need to throw away everything that they have in the fridge, everything that they have in their cupboards. They need to go to the dustbin, not to the neighbors, but to the dustbin. Because if something is not good for you, it's not good for your neighbor. You cannot say to your neighbor, hey, take this margarine, I want to live longer. What about your neighbor? They also want to live a healthy life. So people get disappointed. What am I going to eat now? You know, you go to the shop, look into the supermarket. You know, it's full to the brim with foodstuffs no one should be eating. We always say if you find the food packed in the packet, before you buy it, read the ingredients. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, don't eat it. Because what you are failing to pronounce is the ingredients that are hidden in another language so that you don't know what is inside. If you know, you will not buy that stuff. And then we also need to realize that, when we are trying to change the lifestyle, simplicity is the key. Some people, they think they need to first to understand the nutrigenetics and the nutrigenomics before they can start eating healthy. That can be important to some people, but really you don't need to know the original Hebrew name for almonds before you can start benefiting from the benefits of almonds. Here on the island, I have met a lot of people, old people who are closer to 100 years. They know nothing about the nutritional science. They have been eating breadfruit, sour soup, tamarind, all these island indigenous fruits. And they know nothing about cancer. They know nothing about diabetes. They've been eating coconut, drinking coconut water, hiking mountains, working in the farm, doing exercise, exposing themselves to the sunshine. Basically, they have been living a new start lifestyle without understanding the science behind it. But still, they have benefited to the benefits of living a healthy lifestyle. So this is very important, that simplicity is the key. Know everything that you need to know, but know the basics. So the basics are very simple. Of course, number one, what you need to know is that when it comes to the grains, you need to go for the whole grains. So you have your brown rice, your whole wheat, your millet, your quinoa, or depending on where you are on this planet, there are so many grains, but always look for the whole grains. And then make sure you eat the legumes. This is where a lot of people are missing it. The beans, the chickpeas, the lentils, because even those who try to eat a plant-based diet, they go for these processed soya products. Now, I'm not saying you cannot have them once on Christmas, but what I'm trying to say is eating healthy does not mean eating soya. You need to eat the garbanzo, that's what some people call the chickpeas, eat the lentils, eat the beans. Don't say that, oh, because I'm no longer eating a chicken, I must have a soya chicken. It's like you're saying that now I'm not having the beast, let me have the image of the beast. You don't need to eat something that looks like a chicken or that looks like a sausage. Go for the real things, just a spice of beans, put some ginger, some garlic, some whatever. Watch this program. The ladies are showing their talents and you can learn what they're doing and maybe improve to what they have already shown you and make it even better to excite yourself. And this is one of the things that is actually very, very important that we need to know. Also, the other thing that we need to remember, you need to add some nuts and seeds. And most people also change their diet. They don't like eating nuts and seeds, because we eat them once in a while when you're stuck at a hotel and it's a bed and breakfast and it's there, then you want to make sure you eat them so that the bill is not wasted. But even at your home, take the challenge to make sure that you have your pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, almonds, cashews. They need to be part of the meal. If they are missing, your body will miss something, especially if you have shifted to a plant-based diet. And all fruits in season, and of course, more vegetables, and we'll get maybe back to that later. But we want to look on how do you now change your lifestyle at home. The first thing, if you have young children like me, you need to start from the beginning. I delayed a bit with my firstborn, but I've seen what it has done to my secondborn and my thirdborn. You need to start from the beginning. When the children are young, don't introduce junk food to them. And I'm not trying to say that your child will never, 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 never taste a sweet or a cake or from a friend. Friends may give them a piece of chocolate. That will always happen. but don't make it their staple diet and don't buy it as a parent. But instead, one of the powerful ways that I've learned, if you want your children to dive into this healthy lifestyle, get into the kitchen with them and teach them to make their own healthy snacks. I used to battle with my children before when I was trying to buy healthy snacks, but now we taught them how to make their own samosas, how to make their own coconut biscuits. So we take coconut and we take whole wheat flour, we bake a coconut biscuit, sometimes with oats, and we taught them how to make their own waffles, their own this and that. Today, they enjoy eating their own snacks than trying to buy one. So even if I give them cash to go into the supermarket, they'll come up with apples and other fruits. They'll never buy a biscuit or a chocolate because they prefer to make their own. We have also taught our children how to make their own ice cream, their own yogurt. Here on the island, of course, we use coconut, we use breadfruit, we use anything that is available. But really, when it comes to ice cream and the yogurt, you can use anything. Avocado can make you a good ice cream. Anything really, you blend it, you freeze it, the children will enjoy it. So make this healthy living something delicious. Children should not start praying when they will leave your home so that they can start enjoying meals. It must be delicious. Healthy food, yes, we say let food be your medicine, but the food should not taste like medicine. Food must taste great. Food must taste delicious, and that is actually the bottom line. This is why it is very important that you explore many new ways of preparing your meals. When you want to start a healthy lifestyle, and I'm talking from the food point of view, learn new ways. This is why you see in this program, we always have a cooking demo. It's basically to promote that, because without the art of cooking your food and making it taste great, you will give up. No one wants to eat like a prisoner at their own home. I remember when I was studying a healthy lifestyle back in the early 2000s, there was not much skill in my kitchen. I suffered. I suffered, and I don't know how I managed to survive. Sometimes I just boil rice and lentils because I don't know anything else what to do in the kitchen. So today it's rice and lentils. Tomorrow you add lemon to the lentils to make them taste great. And the other day it's just lentils without anything, and it's lentils, and then you wonder, for how long am I going to eat like this? When will I go to heaven? So making food delicious is the best way to motivate the family. Today, if you come to my home, I wonder if you'll go back, because we make all the delicious food more than the hotel. Now we make, banana muffins, we make coconut oats waffles, we make anything and anything. So we just love it. We can't even remember or even think, where is chicken, where is the beef? But it's simply because we made the art of cooking our hobby, something that we enjoy doing together as a whole family. And then the other thing that you also need to do is, if you want to introduce a healthy lifestyle, have a schedule, have some pillars in your home: time to wake up, time for family worship, time for breakfast, time for lunch, time to chat together as a family. These are the pillars of the home. So make sure as much as you can that you are eating together as a family. Not a good idea unless it is impossible, but if it is practical, try to eat together. It's not just bonding, but this is also the time you can teach your children diet and nutrition. I am homeschooling my 3 daughters, and the nutritional class, we do it during meal times. This is the time we discuss almonds, we discuss flaxseed, we discuss the benefits of this soup and that and that. So we are covering 2 things. We are bonding as a family. We are enjoying our delicious food, but the children are also learning diet and nutrition while we are eating together. So no time is wasted. And when we're in the kitchen, it's the same story. As we are cooking with the children, we also teach them maths, real life maths. So, half a teaspoon, what is a half a teaspoon? What is a saving? What is this and what is that? Instead of children just memorizing figures as in forced education, they learn to calculate real things. So they know this is how a half an apple looks like. This is how a quarter cup looks like. And it's a beautiful way of teaching math in the kitchen while you are making that strawberry cake of cashew nuts and this and that, which you are going to enjoy at the end of the day. The same thing, you can also teach spelling while you are teaching cooking. So children, they learn, okay, this is how you spell appetizer. This is how you spell this. This is how you spell that. Everything can be learned together if you're a homeschooling parent. So making this living together, working together, praying together, eating together, it must be a lifestyle. Don't be a divided family unless it is something that is beyond your control in your situation right now as you are planning to go to the country one of these days. Anyway, the other thing that you also need to do is start by putting the good things first. Some people, they rush removing everything from the diet to the point where they have nothing to eat, and then they ask themselves, what are we going to eat? But I've always found the most beautiful way, if you are on a transition of changing what to eat, start by adding the good things. So start by adding some nuts to your breakfast, add some fruits, and learn to bake some delicious stuff to your breakfast. And as you learn and enjoy these good things, slowly start removing the bad ones. Then let the sausage disappear. Let the other things, the fried eggs, they can now go. Now that you know how to make sunflower spread, maybe how to make scrambled tofu. Then you can kick out the scrambled eggs and you can kick out the sausages. When you start by adding the good things, it becomes easier to remove the bad things. So that is another principle that you can apply when you're trying to change a healthier lifestyle. The other thing that you need to remember as a parent, you are a mentor, not an army commander. So don't be like, you're in a barracks where you are putting rules that make people angry as you're trying to force the whole family to change their lifestyle. Remember, even though you may all want to change, but you may not change at the same pace, at the same speed as a family. So you still find another family member who is still struggling with chocolate. That is okay. Learning a healthy lifestyle is like a baby who is learning how to walk. They stand up, they walk 2 steps, they fall down, they don't give up, they try again. Before you know, they start running around. So if you are able to run, don't force this one who is trying, who is still learning how to walk. Motivate them, encourage them. They may take a little bit longer than you to overcome certain things, but don't try to be a lieutenant colonel in your own house. Be a mentor. Coach them, empower them, motivate them, and encourage them. And yes, speak words of appreciation where you say someone has managed to conquer something. So, wow, I can't believe you have managed to conquer fizzy drinks. This is beautiful. Today I'm going to make something good for you. So you make some carob drink for them just to say thank you, congratulations, you have made it. So be a motivator, be a mentor, be a coach of your own family and not a commander. That's a very good principle also to apply when you're trying to change your lifestyle. And then the other thing is you also need to learn to spend time together learning programs like these, or even learning to watch some healthy documentaries together, listen to some healthy sermons together as a family. Because it's always a challenge. For example, if the mother is the one who only knows what is good, the husband doesn't know, the children doesn't know, but she wants them to do the same thing that she's doing, it becomes a battle. They cannot appreciate why you are promoting, this carrot juice, which doesn't taste as good as Coca-Cola. You know, they cannot appreciate why you are trying to promote this whole wheat bread, which is so heavy in the mouth. You eat one slice, you can't eat another one. You know, they cannot appreciate why you want the rice to look brown when there's beautiful white rice out there. You know, so it's wonderful if you make this health education a family education. Don't say, I'm going on Zoom, go and play outside. No, they can sit behind you. Let them listen to this talk. Learn together as a family, and you find that the children may learn faster than you. I remember when I tried to involve my children studying this book, Counsels on Food and Diet, we were studying it as a family. Wow. You know, the children started correcting me when I'm doing wrong things. They say, hey, Daddy, the way you are doing it, this is not right. You know, Counsels on Food and Diet says we must not eat like this. So the children, they became my lectures because we were learning the topic of health together. And that was motivating to me to see that my children can even empower me, remind me when I'm making mistakes or where I have forgotten. So the other thing is,
but we're almost out of time. So, I mean, I've just been fascinated by your presentation and how you're talking about making the family thing fun. And are you really saying to us that being a vegetarian or being a vegan or a plant-based person, life is still fun? You know, you can enjoy stuff because, you know, people think they're going to die when they give up. What are you saying to us? Is veganism fun?
No, I used to have the same thoughts, I think, you know, 20 years ago. But I have learned when I maybe just to conclude, I was working with another family. It was amazing how the whole family has changed to a plant-based diet. I was helping their father to recover from diabetes, and they saw the father within 1 month, he was off medication. You know, his doctors removed all the medication because he was able to stabilize his blood sugar just by going on a plant-based diet, 2 meals a day, exercise 1 hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, you know, drinking water and coconut water between meals, and sleeping for a good 8 hours, and above all, trusting in God. Because when you trust in God, you don't have to go into depression. You know that there's a God in heaven who is greater than your problems. Amen. So yes, it is possible to live a healthier lifestyle on a plant-based diet. And I think I'll share a handout to the leaders of the group so that maybe they can put on the website and some of you can download it on how to start a healthier lifestyle in more detail.
Dr. Gandhi, just want to thank you for being with us today. I was just excited as I listened to you, man. You cannot be the same person that I knew 17 years ago, right?
I'm getting old as well.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Dr. Gandhi.
Thank you, Dr. Gandhi. That was powerful.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Go ahead, Michelle.
You can hear? Okay, great. Thank you. I was taking notes, and some of the things that I really love is what you believe is more powerful than what you know. Don't be a commander, but be a coach for your family. And when you go vegan, don't seek to imitate the image of the beast by having mock ducks and those type of foods. So very powerful. Thank you very, very much. At this time, we will hand over to Davina's kitchen, where she will be showing us how to prepare a healthy breakfast. Davina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Michelle.
You need to unmute.
I can hear you clearly, Michelle. Thank you very much. All right, lovely. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Oh, I will just do
I can see you.
I will show you a quick, let's say about 10 to 15 minutes breakfast that you can do for yourself. That will give you a lot of nutrients to your body. Joan, I will be doing a cookies, an oatmeal cookie, and Joan will show you the recipe. She will send the ingredients through, either on the platform here or somewhere, but she will look after you in terms of the recipe. So we're gonna do a fruit salad, and you wanna start your breakfast, right, with a variety of fruits, a big selection of fruits. Make sure that you fill up on your fruits, and then you go for the dead food afterwards, right, which is the cookies. So what I've got here is a nice dinner-sized plate, and I'm just gonna load it up with some fruits. I've got a papaya, and by the way, I am making breakfast for two, but one, she eats much less than myself, so she's got a smaller plate. And when you're preparing food, you want to make sure that the presentation is important, because we do eat with our eyes. So I've got the papaya here nicely sliced up. Just want to put it in the plate to just make it look nice. You know, we do eat with our eyes, and we've got to admit that. We like when food looks nice, so we want to present it nice. That's probably not the best plate. It's so I'll just bring this over to here where it's not sliding. So just set it up like that. I'm hoping you're seeing everything properly. I've got the other half of papaya, which I'm gonna set on my plate. Of course, I've got the bigger half. So I want to fix it up there.
There's a bigger half.
Yeah, so my papaya is like my centerpiece. As you can see, it's in the center of my plate. I'm going to put the other things around it. So we've got some pineapple here. Just set them in a very similar fashion. We've got mango here, and I'll stick a piece of mango right here. What I'll do, I'm just going to turn it like this. I don't know if you're seeing that. So what I did, I'll just demonstrate this a little bit to you what I did. So I had a half a mango like that, and I literally just cut like that, right? And lengthways as well. And then now I'm just going to do it like this. It looks really nice. And I'm going to put that right here on our plate, and then on my plate as well. And even though I'm preparing my own breakfast, I actually do make sure it looks presentable. And what I've got here, I've got a ripe plantain. I know you may wonder, are you crazy? But this is a fruit. It's got seeds inside. A ripe plantain. We don't have to cook everything. And I'm going to put that on my plate. And that's because I can't get my teenager to eat unripe, ripe plantain raw as yet. I've got here a half an apple, and I just give it some slices, just like that. So just gonna set this up here. So I'm doing it so you can see a little bit of the white as well as the red, so you can get that nice color contrast. And she likes apples as well, so I'll put the other half on her plate. Basically doing the same thing, so you can see the color contrast. And I've got here now some of her favorites, strawberries. These are not necessarily my favorite, so I'll give her most of the strawberries. And I keep the green bits on, and that's just to help to create a little bit more color. I'll probably just stick 2 in my plate. And I've got here a pear. You can see that? So I'll just add a little bit of green there. And she will eat more of the pear. She likes her British fruits, while I like my Caribbean fruits. What I've got here as well is a half an avocado. And I'm just gonna drop a couple of slices in it. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm not cutting all the way to the end. I'm just making a few slices in the top bit. So then I will have like this fan that I can just spread out over mine. And she does not eat avocado. So I'm very delighted to enjoy all of this avocado a little bit by myself. And again, you just want to spread it a little bit so you get that color contrast. Which is important. What I've got here, I've got a little bunch of grape, red grape, which I'm gonna share between two. So you want to go for colors as well, right? When you're eating, just think colors. Gonna throw some in. She is a grape fan, and she has been waiting for this breakfast, so she has been coming in and picking on the grapes. I think I've got quite a bit here in my plate. Not so big on the grapes, so I'll take a little bit less, but I'll just throw a bit more in hers. I've got some, a little bit of dried cranberries, and I'll just put maybe a teaspoon, if so much. I'll just sprinkle, just to add color and a little bit of extra texture and a little bit of extra nutrients as well. And I've got here a lemon, half a lemon, which I'll just squeeze over, because lemon aid in the process of digestion, helps your food to digest faster. So that's the fruit salad. Are you able to see nicely? Oh, maybe this is a better view.
That looks very, 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 very pretty, very attractive, very colorful.
And I've got almond nuts here, which you could always just throw a handful of nuts on your breakfast, or you could eat it afterwards. But because I've got the cookies and I've put some pistachio nuts in the cookies, I will not eat any extra nut today, right? So what I've got here, the recipe Joan will share with you, this is a cup actually of gluten-free oats that I've got here, but the recipe calls for 2 cups. And I add 1 ripe banana, or 1.5, because this one is really small. And I'm just gonna squash it a little bit. So I'm literally just squashing it with my hands. Take that little end bit off. Yeah, I've got to just wash that off. I've got some ginger powder here, and I'm just putting a pinch of ginger powder in. Smells really good. I've got a nutmeg here, and I'm just gonna grate a little nutmeg in on the fine side of my grater. I've got as well a little bit of already powdered cinnamon here. Again, I'm just gonna put a pinch of cinnamon powder. I've got coconut oil here, and I'm putting, I don't know, this is a little bit less than, let's see, about a tablespoon. And I've got some lovely local honey, unstrained, unrefined. And this will help you in your time of allergies, especially now. And I'm just gonna put to this mixture, because this is just 1 cup, I'm just putting 1 spoon of honey. But if it was 2 cups, I would put 2 spoons. And you could tip a little vanilla in it. If you've got the vanilla pods, that tastes even better. But I'm just gonna tip a little bit of essence in it. And what I've got here I've got my fruits, you know, that you would soak and have ready for your fruit cake for Christmas, right? I've got them soaking in red grape juice for some time now in my fridge. And I'm just gonna put a cup of my dried fruits in it. So it's got raisins, sultanos, cherries, peels, you know, all those fruits you throw in for Christmas. I'm just gonna put, this is a 1/4 cup, but it doesn't need that much. For 2 cups of flour, you could put 1/4 cup, unless you really like the raisins and stuff like that. And then now I've got here some flour. Now I've got gluten-free flour, but you can use whatever flour you want to use. This is what I find in my cupboard. And I'm putting, this is less than a tablespoon. I'll put maybe about a tablespoon of flour. Yeah, and I think I've got all the ingredients in, and I'll just mix this up together. So you can see what the texture is supposed to be like. And I've got my oven going. So if you're gonna make breakfast, you wanna just start with the cookies first, just to make them. And you could leave this batter in the fridge for a couple of hours, you know, maybe an half an hour or so, just to get the flavors nicely soaked into the oats. So I get this consistency, which is good. And I'm just gonna form them into little cookies. Or you can make them into balls. I've got my tray ready with my baking sheet. And here we go. I just make them. And this is my mixture that I had ready from before. And I've got some cookies baked here. So I'll just take the gloves off and show you. So thank you very much from Davina's Kitchen. Here are the cookies. I'll break one. Nice. Seen that nicely?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Joan, you are free to show the recipe if you haven't posted it in the, oh yes.
You posted it in the chat.
Actually, it did take a little longer than 15 minutes. It took maybe about 20 to 25 minutes to bake them, but I did have the oven at a little lower, maybe guess mark 6 or 7 I had the oven, but just watch them so they don't go too brown, because you don't want to be creating any carcinogen. You just want to enjoy some cookies after you finish eating your lovely fruit salad. So remember, fill up on your fruits first and then eat the dead food afterwards. Enjoy.
Thank you, Davina. That looks great, and I'm sure it will taste great. You can go and enjoy it right now, because I know you have been patiently waiting. So thank you very, very, very much. I hope you've taken notes, and note that you eat your live foods first. Those are higher in water content, so you have those first. Then you have your foods that are not alive, that are cooked, and you finish off with a handful of nuts if you haven't had any in the main meal. Thank you. Now we have the one and only Noel Fender, and he will be talking to us about the importance of breakfast. Brother Noel, welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's over to you.
I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
He said you started, yes? Okay, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Still not yet noon. Good morning, everyone. Question I want to ask us this morning is, just bear with me a moment. Yeah. Breakfast. I've just watched Davina's preparation of breakfast. Is it really necessary? Is it something that we must have in the morning? You know, concerning the rush life that we all have. We have to rush to get to work, rush to get to uni, rush to get to school. rush to get things in order in the morning. Does breakfast really make sense? What about those who are watching the amount of calories that they're having on a daily basis? Is it necessary to have breakfast? Isn't it a better thing to skip breakfast and just have 2 meals, one later on in the day and one in the evening? Now, I'm just going to give you 3 reasons why we skip breakfast. And today we're really trying to establish, are there benefits to breakfast? Now, reason number 1, people have no time for breakfast in the morning because they're too busy. Reason number 2, some people don't have any appetite in the morning for breakfast. And number 3, with the advent of all these different diet programs, you've got the payload diet, you've got intermittent fasting, all of these things, people want to lose weight. So is it really necessary? Now, let's look at what it said here, the book Child Guidance, page 97. And this was a mother's counsel about breakfast. She said, your child has a nervous temperament and her diet should be carefully guarded. Never let her go from home to school without breakfast. Do not venture to give full scope to your inclination in this matter. Place yourself entirely under the control of God, and He will help you to bring all your desires into harmony with His requirement. Now, another counsel here from the same book, paragraph 2, same page. It is a custom and order of society to take a slight breakfast, but this is not the best way to treat the stomach. And sometimes you're in a rush and all you can grab is a cookie, or all you can grab is just one of those bars to offer breakfast. So we slight the whole idea from breakfast. But this is not the best way to treat the stomach. At breakfast time, the stomach is better conditioned to take care of more food than the second or the third meal of the day. The habit of eating sparing breakfast and large dinner is wrong. Make sure breakfast compound more nearly to the healthiest, to the heavier meal of the day. So it's important to make our breakfast the healthiest meal for the day and the heaviest meal for the day as well. And remember, we've always heard the saying, eat like a king in the morning and a pauper in the evening. And I believe that this saying holds true. Now, skipping breakfast can increase cortisol and disrupt our circadian rhythm. And this is very important. Now, cortisol level is higher in the morning. It keeps getting higher and higher throughout the morning until we have our breakfast. What is the main function of cortisol? The main function of cortisol is to mobilize the stored energy. Now, cortisol is the flight or fight hormone. And just imagine you keep elevating this, it's very high in the morning, and by not having our breakfast, it keeps elevating. Now, what are we doing to our body? We are creating a very stressful system. You will continue to, and what will eventually happen is that you find that the stored energy is now being used up as fluid, as fuel for the body. Now, cortisol, as it continues to elevate during the if you avoid your breakfast, this is what will happen. If cortisol is elevated for an extended period of time, it can decrease the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into active thyroid T3. And if you're watching yesterday's program, then you start to get a hint of what having thyroid problem can cause. And breakfast in the morning can actually cause this to happen. It can cause us to have thyroid problem. It can lead to things like weight gain. It can lead to diabetes. It can lead to high blood pressure. Skipping breakfast in the morning can lead to cardiovascular illness, believe it or not. And so it's important for us to try in the morning to make sure we get up on time, we do things the right way. And one of the reasons why we skip breakfast, or we get up in the morning and we say, I haven't got the appetite for breakfast this morning, is because we're eating our last meal way too late in the evening. And having that last meal, that time of the evening, we go off to sleep. So we are sleeping, our stomach isn't resting, one. And so while we're sleeping, our stomach is busy at work. And so we get up in the morning and we get up feeling very tired. Now, one of the other reasons, now think about it. Our liver produces glucose and stores glucose. Now, during the morning hours, this glucose level increase inside our blood, and it keep on elevating. And the body now begin to use up this glucose as energy. No nutrients is coming into the body, and so the body keeps using up this glucose. Remember, our brain uses glucose as well to function. So what do you think is going to happen to us as we go through the day? We're going to get what we call brain fog. We're going to find that we become very irritable easily. All of these things will happen to us when we skip our breakfast. And another thing, for those Weight Watchers or weight losses, are those people who go on these diet programs, saying it's not necessary to have breakfast because I'm counting my calories. Remember, there are difference in calories as well. That's something we need to take note of. And secondly, it is important to have our breakfast in the morning, because when we skip our breakfast in the morning, we go through the day snacking, and most time we turn to comfort food. We turn to things that are sweet. We turn to things that are unhealthy. We turn to things that are crunchy, things that just let us feel good. So it's important. A recent study involved 18 healthy individuals and 18 with type 2 diabetes found that skipping breakfast led to disrupt circadian rhythm in both groups, as well as greater glucose level when they finally did eat. So it's important, very important for us to try and have a breakfast in the morning. Now, what is a circadian rhythm? Every tissue, every cell, every organ in the body operates according to its biological rhythm. The so-called body clock kept the body processes running according to a schedule. Now, your circadian rhythm is a 24-hour cycle that regulates the timing of the process, like eating, sleeping, and our temperature. So when we fail to have our breakfast on time, when we fail to have our breakfast in the morning, what we actually doing, we are messing up our circadian rhythm. We're throwing our body clock off, and we're almost creating an environment like traveling abroad, traveling to somewhere like down in Australia where there's a completely different time zone. So you get there, you feel jet lag. Same way your body's gonna feel drowsy. You're gonna have this level of fatigue, and your body's trying to establish when is day, when is night, when is day, when is night. All of these things are gonna be happening to us. So it's pretty much the same thing happening to us when we have our meal, when we fail to have our breakfast in the morning. Another before I get to that, now, what are some of the benefits of having a good breakfast? Now, academic performance. Children, and this is important, children who eat breakfast perform better on standardized achievement tests and have fewer behavioral problems in school. Isn't that interesting? Eating breakfast has the advantageous effect of late morning mood, stability, and cognitive performance. Breakfast can establish the tone for the next 16 hours. And just stop to imagine what, not having breakfast in the morning, what it's actually doing, what the reverse of this is doing to someone who is in a job that is very demanding, working in a very stressful environment. So you miss breakfast. You're going through the traffic and you have to be rushing. You get to work and nothing doesn't seem to be working out for you. And you have meeting deadlines to meet. You have work deadline, you have assignment deadline to meet, all of these things. Just imagine the level of stress that you're building up in your body as a result of not having your breakfast in the morning. Eating breakfast keep you thin. Researchers from the National Registry found that eating breakfast every day was a weight control strategy for 78% of people in the registry. 78%. Now, energy boost. Everyone should start their day off right by eating much vitamin and other mineral as much vitamin and mineral as possible. It sharpens our focus. By eating breakfast every morning, you are able to keep your focus and productive level up. That is very important. Now, metabolism boost. Metabolism boost. Now, the only way to jumpstart your metabolism for the day is to start off right with a healthy breakfast. And may I just say, by reverse, right here, by reverse, when we fail to have our breakfast again in the morning, what we're actually doing, we're creating a thyroid problem. We're creating an hypothyroid problem, an hormone imbalance. And when this happens, it actually slows our metabolism down. And so our body is now vulnerable to all kinds of metabolic illnesses. So we talk about things like the diabetes I spoke about earlier on. Diabetes, we talk about high blood pressure. All of these things now begin to happen. Now, prevent starvation as well. If you delay your first meal of the day until lunch, your body goes into survival mode and starts storing calories, creating fat. It's important to know that. Having breakfast in the morning helps to lower the bad cholesterol. Eating breakfast every morning can help to lower the LDL cholesterol. First, you slow down your metabolism. Second, fat is stored longer in the body. Third, you have a higher tendency of overeating at your next meal. Fourth, you gain weight and your LDL cholesterol goes up. So it's important to know that one of the benefits of having breakfast in the morning is that it helps to lower your cholesterol. And this is very important, and I've just shown you the reverse. It can cause metabolic illnesses, and it can cause you to store fat in the body much longer, and it also leads to things like muscle wasting. Now, and of course, I just mentioned it prevents you from overeating. Now, in the book Education, page 209, note this carefully. In most cases, 2 meals a day are preferred to 3. Supper, when taken at an early hour, interferes with the digestion of the previous meal. When taken, it is not.
One of the reasons why I need to take the stuff downstairs is that.
Please mute your mic.
Dismantled.
Sorry, I'll just go over that again. In most cases, reading from the book Education, 2 meals a day are preferably to 3. Some, when taken at an early hour, interferes with the digestion and the prevention of meal. When taken later, it is not itself digested before bedtime. Thus, the stomach fails of securing proper rest. The sleep is disrupted, the brain and the nerves are weird, and the appetite for breakfast is impaired. The whole system is unrefreshed and is unready for the next day's duty. And this is why it's important, it's extremely important for us to have our last meal very early. And like it's pointed out here, 2 meals better than 3. However, it depends on the kind of work that you're doing. Take this into consideration. Now, this is also supported the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, dated February 20th, 2020. A German study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism indicate that you can burn about twice as many calories per day if you eat breakfast, because your body absorption of carbohydrate, fat, and protein might be faster in the morning. And this is something important to note as well. When we get up in the morning, our body is at its very best in terms of digestion. And food that you'll find that you struggle with throughout the day or eating late in the evening, you'll find that you're able to your body is able to absorb nutrients from these food, and digestion, the process of digestion is even much better in the morning. Why? Because you'd have had your last meal early enough. Secondly, your stomach get a chance to rest, build up enough gastric juice to deal with digestion. And so in the morning, you'll find that your body can absorb these things much faster, and it will burn calories much, much faster. So those who sometimes get carried away into these sort of diet and all of these sort of things and believe that if you skip
Brother
breakfast,
Noel?
yeah, go ahead. A study from the University of Leeds found out that students in their mid-teens who ate breakfast frequently had better grades than those who rarely had breakfast. And again, this is important. Harvard University, and students who usually had breakfast had improved maths grade, reduced hyperactivity, decrease absence and tardy rate, and improve psychosocial behavior compared with children rarely ate at school breakfast. Again, this is very important. Now, so it's important for us to have a very healthy breakfast in the morning. Try avoiding this whole thing of skipping breakfast because of these new dietary guidelines that are being given out there. And for those who are trying to lose weight, this is one thing I would say to you. Don't skip your breakfast thinking that you're doing your body any justice in trying to lose weight. The most important thing that you need to bear in mind if you're trying to lose weight is to get healthy, balance all your hormones, and your body will naturally find its right weight. Thank you very much. Over to you, Michelle.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Noel. That was a fantastic compliment to Davina. Thank you so much, Noel. That was very informative.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Lisa had a question for you.
Yeah.
Lisa? Hi, Lisa. Could you ask your question, please? All right. Thanks, Noel. I think Michelle is having trouble with her connection.
Okay.
And I just want to take it over from here. And I'm just wondering if I'm trying to see people who have got questions. Lisa had questions. Lisa, if you're there, you can unmute and ask your question, please. Lisa, are you there?
Carry on, Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvie, can you hear me? I can now. Okay, thank you very much. I had a question regarding children, Noel. How many meals should children have per day?
Children who are very active, 3 meals good enough, but where possibly they can revert to 2 meals a day. When we talk about 3 meals a day, we're pretty much referring to people who are physically active. You're talking about people like on the construction, within the construction industry, who are doing manual labor. But children who are sitting in the classroom most of the day, come out, run, maybe play about for maybe an hour. 2 meals might be good enough.
Thank you. And there's spacings. So what's the latest someone should really eat as a rule?
What you want to do, you want to have your last meal at least 4 hours before your bedtime, at least 4 hours before your bedtime. So if, for example, your bedtime is at 8 p.m. in the afternoon, 8 p.m., you want to have your last meal somewhere around 4 o'clock in the evening. So
Thank you.
Can rest while you're sleeping.
And we have an ideal bedtime, right? Which is like 9:30, between 9 and 10 p.m. That's an ideal bedtime for all people. But of course, most don't get to achieve that. So if we were going for the 10 p.m., then the latest meal should be at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was very, very informative. And we would like the slides to put on the website to share with the public. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you. And now we move on to Sister Nicola. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Is it Nuso?
Wosu.
Nuso. Okay, thank you.
It's Wosu. The
Thank
end is
you.
a little silent.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much. Nicola will be talking to us today about homeschooling, and she'll be giving us a teacher's perspective. So please sit back and listen attentively. Hi, Nicola.
Hi, Sylvie. How are you?
It's lovely. It's lovely to have you here on the show. It's such a blessing. I know you're resigning in Nigeria, right?
Yes, currently.
Yes, fantastic. Now, our viewers, last 2 weeks, I think we were hearing from the couple talking about the homeschooling. And
Yes.
This is going to be a continuation from a perspective of a teacher who
Yes.
teaches homeschooled children. So
Yes.
this is where Nicola comes in. And I just want to welcome you so much on this show and thank you for your presence today. Now, to begin our interview, Nicole, or Nicola. Is it Nicola or Nicole?
It's Nicola.
It's Nicola. All right.
Yes.
I just want to, if you could please tell us, how did your journey begin with homeschooling?
Well, it's a long journey, and I have my eldest is 17 years old, and I was introduced to homeschooling just before she was born. I had a friend who was a homeschooler mom, and her experience with her children and how I saw them being brought up really touched me. And I thought that this is something I would like to do for my own children when I have them. So by the time I started having children, I decided I didn't want to send them to daycare. I wanted to stay with them at home and homeschool them. So my husband made that possible for me, and I was able to stay with them and work with them at home. But saying that I wanted to homeschool and doing it, I didn't really understand how to do it, right? And although I had somebody around me that was successful doing it, I had to leave and travel somewhere, so I wasn't around the lady anymore. So I had to just go into the waters by myself and learn basically how to swim. So I started, and I used to read to my daughter every night. I kept Christian content before her. We sing songs from the hymnal, and I was just homeschooling her the way that I knew how. And I would make sure that she learned her ABCs and stuff like that. But about true education, I didn't really understand what it was, right? And so, I kept with it. And then eventually we had 5 children, and I kept them at home, and I was working with them, except for when I had some special needs amongst my children. And then I decided I wanted to try sending them, one of them at least, to a school program. And God always impressed upon my mind that there was just something wrong with the education system. I couldn't pinpoint, but I just knew God wasn't in it. And there was something about it that wasn't preparing the children holistically, right? And so that concerned me. The Holy Spirit just put that within me, and I was really uncomfortable with the whole schooling system. So I just knew that I had to keep them home. I had to homeschool them. And so I kept on searching, I kept on digging. And my husband, who is more inclined towards the Greek system of education, being a medical doctor, he wanted me to make sure that the children were having that type of education. So back to the story. So I sent back to the story about sending one of the children to a public school system. So when we sent her there, she wasn't comfortable. She came home, she complained, and we decided, okay, after a few months, we're gonna pull her out and keep her home and homeschool her the way that we were doing with the other kids, And so it so happened that I left for Nigeria, then I went back to Canada. And I was like, Lord, the kids are getting bigger, and education is getting a little bit more complicated, a little bit harder. And I'm not a mathematician. I don't know how to teach math. I don't know how to teach these other subjects. I'm just an English teacher. What do I know? How can I do it? So then I was praying about it, and I was asking the Lord to give me direction, to show me what to do. And then I heard a presentation on Safe to Serve Ministry website. And they were introducing a school called Remnant Preparatory School, right? And it was just like, wow, this is the answer to my prayer. This is exactly what I wanted. So Pastor Enriquez came with Sister Madeline Ortiz, and they expressed her passion to start a school online and to have children educated from home through that school. It was just a blessing. We were so grateful to the Lord for it. My friend and I, my friend was living with me at this time. This is another friend, and she was also homeschooling her children. And so, we were just so elated. We were ecstatic, we were overjoyed. We were grateful to the Lord for this opportunity of this school. So by the time the school got launched and we registered our kids and we had them there, the Lord impressed me. Since you're home with the kids and you have a background in English, you studied English at the university level, why don't you volunteer to teach English the few hours a day that they offer English to the high school students? So then my daughter was in the high school at the time, so it was also an opportunity.
Yes. What was the school again? What was the name of the school?
Remnant Preparatory School.
Remnant
Preparatory School. We have a branch in the UK now, and we have a branch in the US, right? And I work for both schools. So it was really something, that God just started up this school. And then this school uses the Sunlight curriculum. It was my first time hearing about the Sunlight curriculum. We used to use a program called 10 Kids, and then we used to use Singapore books and all these things for our own homeschooling home. But we didn't know of the Sunlight curriculum. And when the Lord opened our understanding to the Sunlight curriculum online, we were really impressed the way that they included God into the academics.
Amen.
And so, you know, she sent me, when Mrs. Ortiz sent me the information that I needed to teach to the class, right? It was kind of like a rush thing because, you know, the Sunlight curriculum has 10 principles of true education that you must go through as a teacher in order to understand how to teach the content. And so, you know, teaching, just being thrown in there and not having the adequate preparation was a challenge because I was still challenged with the Greek system of education and God's, and now I'm here presented with God's way of education. How do I reconcile the two? And I tell you the truth, I can be honest with you, that struggle continued until just recently when the Lord showed me that I need to really strike that balance between the hard academics and the spiritual aspect of the academics, merge the two so that we can make these children ready for earth, for a life here on earth, and also for a life in heaven, you know?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Wow, Nicola, that actually you've just answered even my next question, which was how did you decide, or why did you decide to teach homeschoolers? But I think you've just given me a little bit of a nutshell of it.
Yes, a little bit of it, but I can tell you the truth that homeschooling is not only for these students, it's also for me. It helps to keep me grounded. It helps me to always look internally to see what I need to improve upon to be a better Christian, right? So while I'm fulfilling the purpose of, you know, preparing these little hearts for the kingdom of heaven, my own heart is being prepared. So it's a wonderful task that the Lord has given. And guess what? Not because I have a background in English that has qualified me to be a teacher. Even parents can be teachers. You don't need to have the qualification that the world says you need to have to be a teacher in order to teach true education. True education can be taught by any under teacher who is willing to make God the over teacher, or the super teacher, or the master teacher, right? So if you're willing to listen to God, if you're willing to be led by the Holy Spirit, if you're willing to ask God, okay, Lord, you know, I have this language lesson. I don't know how to break it down to the students. Can you help me? He will help you. You know, and sometimes we forget to ask the Lord, but we shouldn't, because, you know, like I just got something just happened even with me, and God used it as a means to shake me up, to let me know that in every aspect of the homeschooling that I do online, I need him. I can't do without him. He's my lifeline. Without constant communication with him, I can't even teach it effectively. You know?
Amen. I think you have really brought it up really nicely, because with homeschooling, what I know very, very, very much is a consecrating work. You really, as a mother or as a father or as a teacher who's homeschooling these children, you really have to be under the feet of Jesus, because there's so many challenges that we meet on a daily basis, but how you handle it is the power that you get from Christ, because he gives us powers to do everything. And thank you so much for sharing that. Now, going forward, you have just excited the audience right now, because right now, as you know, we are in a time of COVID-19. We have been locked down for a couple of months now. I think it's 3 months, if I'm not wrong. And there's so many parents who are overwhelmed by having their children at home and not knowing what to do with them. They are not well acquainted to homeschooling. They don't know what to do.
Yes.
You know, some schools have been, I think, lucky that they are able to send work for the kids at home, and the parents just have to supervise that they are doing their work right. But to some schools, they've not been getting that work, and parents are overwhelmed by it. What is your advice, or what would you tell that kind of a parent or a child who is struggling because of not being able to meet their friends, their colleagues at school, and they're full of anxiety? They don't know what to do.
And you know what? Zoom provides such an excellent opportunity for interaction. And
Yes.
that is one of the reasons why at Remnant Preparatory School, we use the Zoom platform so that the students can see themselves and interact with each other,
Yes.
right? Another thing that the parents could probably utilize is, you know, sending the child to the school so that, like, the parents are here when, let's just touch on this a little bit. When Israel was suffering, just like what the other homeschoolers said, when Israel had lost the bearing of true education, God brought back Samuel with the schools of the prophets, right? So that Samuel could bring back those waymarks and, you know, show the students how to, you know, be successful academically, but not, you know, removing the spiritual aspect of it, right? So the School of the Prophets was instituted to create men and women who will not be bought or sold, true men of God, true women of God, right? And so that is why a school like Remnant Preparatory School or Three Angels Academy, even, that's another one, was set up so that, you know, these children can be prepared for a useful life here on earth and for a life in heaven. So if she's truly looking for a rounded education, right, where you can teach language arts from the Bible and the spirit of prophecy, where you can teach math, like Dr. Gandhi said, in the kitchen, you know, but from a spiritual perspective, you're showing that, you know, God is the number one. And when you make him, when you join with him, and two becomes one, and then that is the recipe that is needed. Divinity with humanity, you know, is the recipe needed for salvation. For example, that's a math concept right there. Or for example, if you're teaching poetry and you go back to the Psalms or the Songs of Solomon or the Proverbs, and you're able to bring out some of the concepts in poetry, the rhyming schemes and so on in poetry, and you bring it to the students to show them that the Bible also covers such content. It's really amazing. You know, so parents don't have to feel like they are missing out if they send their children to a school like Remnant Prep or to a school like Three Angels Academy, because these schools are designed to teach the academics, you know, and I struggled with that for a long time, because coming out of the world and seeing how the academic system is so set up in that Greek format, you tend to want to repudiate it altogether. But you realize that you have to have young people who can read and write. You need young people who can speak properly. And if you go back to the spirit of prophecy, it says that, you know, how bad it is when you have somebody go out to do witnessing activity, for example, and you don't even know how to express yourself to give somebody a steps to Christ or a great controversy. It brings a reproach upon the cause, right? So it's very important that we teach our children to speak well, to know how to do math, to understand geography and history. It's important for us to do those things, right? But from a spiritual, we should always be careful to include the spiritual lesson.
Yes, thank you, Nicola. Now, Nicola, there's our audience right now, they're wondering, at what level do you get at in the school online?
Say that again, I'm so sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Like you homeschool up to what level?
Oh, we homeschool up to, that's questionable. We start at age 8. That's the recommendation by the Spirit of Prophecy. Although I know that we do allow some 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds to come in, but they have to do so with their parents. And that's usually for the Bible class and the song service, just so that they can get those components in for the day. But really, the first lesson book is nature. Parents should go out in nature from age 0 to 8 and teach their children through nature and revelation, right? And then when they are ready for the lessons 1 to 13, it goes up to 13. It doesn't matter, like even an adult can be in grade 12 or grade 11 if you truly want true education to learn how God intends for us to have been taught, what God's blueprint was from the beginning, right? It's important the age limit is endless, really, because it's an unlearning of everything that you've learned, that has been error. And now God is bringing us to that true education platform, which teaches the truth.
Amen. Amen. Now, Nicola, a parent right there on the audience might be asking a question that I wonder how much that learning online would be. Is it going to be affordable for parents? Or would you throw some light regarding that, please?
Sure. I think the leaders of the school would be better able to talk about that, but I can lend this information.
Right.
What I know that my principal does in the US is that we make it that all students are allowed to come. We don't want to turn away anybody because of financial constraints, right? But we do want people to understand that it's something that costs money, so that it would be good for them to put in a little thing that they have, contribute to it somehow, right? So that it will also have a certain value placed upon it in your own life. You will see it as valuable, right? Because if you go out there and you see a nice dress, you probably might want to save up until you get it. Now, this is true education, a preparation for eternity. Why not save towards it? Why not invest in it? And really, right now, true education is lacking in funding, right? We have a lot of parents who would like to send their children, but they're afraid to send their children because of that fear. But I would implore you, please don't be afraid. Send your child. God will make a way. God will provide a way, right? And even if you don't have all the money to pay, you can just give what you have. Right?
Amen. Amen. Yeah. It's so lovely to know that that school is there and it's available, because this is what homeschoolers have been really struggling with, because I know there is sunlight and it's free, but there's so many parents who don't know how to, navigate through sunlight. It can be, you really have to have some kind of creativity to create, to create the work schedules and things, the activities that you want the children to go through.
I am a teacher and I'm still learning that.
I'm sure you are. But I just want you to probably in closing, I know we're going to have some questions at the end, just two main things that as a takeaway for parents right now listening to us, this conversation. Something that you really want them to understand.
I wanted to read this passage from Education, the book. It's taken from Education, page 14, and it's showing the blessing of true education. It says, in a knowledge of God, all true knowledge and real development have their source. Wherever we turn in the physical, the mental, or the spiritual realm, in whatever we behold, apart from the blight of sin, this knowledge is revealed, right? And it says, whatever line of investigation we pursue, so whether it be math, English, whatever, with a sincere purpose to arrive at truth, we are brought in touch with the unseen, mighty intelligence that is working in and through all. The mind of man is brought into communion with the mind of God when we study true education. And that is of inestimate or inestimable value, right? So you cannot place a value on that. In this communion is found the highest education. It is God's own method of development, right? And what true education does is to help us to connect and acquaint ourselves now with our Creator. right? So that's one benefit. And I would like to say, like what I had written down to say was that true education doesn't only benefit the student, it benefits the teachers.
The teachers
and it's a holistic process, yes.
Yes, I agree 100%. It's the same like medical missionary work.
Yes.
If you are not rooted and consecrated, you cannot go far.
Exactly.
And that it's the same with God. Everything we do as Christians is the same. We have to be rooted. And thank you so much. But before we wrap up, one question that I know parents will be maybe asking right now. I know you mentioned that you start from the age 8 up to 13. Do you have plans to going further in age?
No, not age 8 to 13.
Right.
Okay, so let me be clear. We start at age 8, but the lessons go up to lessons 13.
I see.
That can be for people ages 18, 20 to 40 to 50.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Praise the Lord.
Matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can come into true education because you will learn something that you didn't know before. That's a guarantee.
So you want to say then right now that a child can go through the full realm of education up to a degree if they wanted to?
If they wanted to, depending on the line that they want to go in. For example, I know that some people, I know one young man, for example, he just graduated from Remnant Preparatory School, but while he was there, he was taking an EMT training, right? So he's really grounded in true education. So because of that groundedness, he's able to handle something like an EMT course, right? Without being shaken in his faith. Right? So we prepare people, if you want to graduate at the age of 16, you can do so if you've completed your work, and you will get a certificate towards higher academic pursuits if you want, right? We do offer that as well. But if you want to come in and at the age of 25, I think that is possible. And if you want, you can also do private work on your own, you know, with the true education curriculum at home.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Nicole. Then I have a 16-year-old who is, I live in Scotland at the moment, who is about to start senior 6, if you like, to his last year of secondary school, or sorry, of high school. So if you were to take him on, at what level would you start him on? Because you have up to level 13.
Yes, I would give him some kind of diagnostic testing to see the level that he's at. And then I would work with him from that level, right? Okay. And our classroom sizes are small, so we tend to cater to individual needs as much as possible. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much, Nicole. Let's just try and see if there's any questions that we can go through. It's been such a fantastic knowledge, even just to know that there's a school. I know so many parents who go to work, both parents work, and they would love their children to have this true education, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to navigate through it. But knowing that there's a school which is online and their children can be enrolled on is such a blessing, such a blessing. I had no idea there was such a thing, to be honest. And I'm so blessed to even have this interview with you. So I'm gonna have to look through and see if we have some questions. So, okay. Yes. We have a question here from Jamaica. The lady's asking, could I enroll my children? We're in the Caribbean, but they're in Jamaica. What would you say to that one, Nicola?
I would say yes. We have students from Trinidad, we have students from Brazil, we have students from Bermuda, we have students all over the world. So they can enroll their child. They only need a very strong internet connection. That's the problem. Like if you don't have a strong internet connection, you'll have a problem getting into and keeping with the network for the duration of the class, which is probably an hour per class.
Fantastic, fantastic. That is so refreshing that even if in the time of right now where we are, we know that we need to go to the country. So that takes off, sets the parents' minds free, knowing that wherever they go, their children can go with the school, online school.
Yes.
It is such fantastic news.
There's some raised hands here.
Yes? Yeah.
Yeah, there's some raised hands here.
2 hands are raised.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Go ahead, ask your question, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Leonora, can you ask your question? Leonora, are you there? Okay.
Lenora?
Okay. If there's anyone on this platform right now and you have a burning question you want to ask, this is your opportunity.
More information on registration?
Yes, Sister Joy.
Yeah, I wanted to know, does the curriculum cater for children with special needs?
That's a very good question. Thank you for your question, Sister Joy.
You're welcome.
We don't specifically have a special needs program, but I know our principal has been, very mindful that we have special needs students who need that service. For example, I have 2 boys with autism, and sometimes I think, how would they sit for such a classroom? But we're trying to see if we can work on a program that can accommodate our special needs students amongst us. Right. So we're working on it. It's in progress.
Fantastic. It's good to know that you are working on it, because there's so many parents who are worried. They would love their children, even though they have learning disabilities, to have true education, and that is it's actually a very sensitive subject, but also good to know that there's a school and something can be done prayerfully. Yes. I know we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, right?
Amen.
Yes. Somebody else raised their hands. Mohal.
As well.
Yes, Davina.
Yes, Nicola, 2 questions. The logo, we went online and we saw your logo and we absolutely love the colors. Do they have any particular meaning that you may be aware of?
I can speak from the Sunlight curriculum. We first like to do something as teachers. We like to teach the Rainbow Covenant. And in the Rainbow Covenant, we have a list of colors with their associated spiritual meaning. And green, for example, represents faith. And if you look around you, you see a lot of trees that are green, a lot of grass that is green, shrubs that are green. So what is God trying to tell us in that? He's trying to tell us that we need a lot of faith. It's essential, right? And then we have the blue on the logo, which represents obedience, right? And so we see the sky above, which is blue, right? And it's a huge sky, and we cannot reach up to it because it's the law of God that's we need to be obedient to, and it's so far reaching, right? Amen. We have to pray and ask God to help us to reach that standard, right? So if we put those 2 together, right, it's just the kind of, I think, the kind of philosophy that our school is built on. Like, we need that faith, right, to prepare these students for a noble task of representing Jesus Christ, right, in his entire character, right? Our school focuses mostly on character development. That is our 100% focus, right? And so everything revolves around character development.
Thank you, Nicole. Just to say, the colors are very similar to ours. The green, the purple, you know, the green for faith, the purple for royalty, and then we've got the white as well for purity. And what other color do we have again?
Blue.
Do you have the blue on it, like us?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, my other question was, Nicole, as AGM, one of our purpose and one of our aim that we try to do for our members, right, is to help people, you know, when they go off to their country livings, to develop careers that they can do from home, right? Because as we all look towards leaving the mainstream employment, because we know the time of buying and selling, you know, which will be a terrible time, is coming soon. It's at our doorstep. So one of our main aim is to get people prepared and ready for this time. So when you go in the country, you can have your own self-employment that you use, which is also doing the work of the Lord. So your ministry becomes your business, sort of. Would you be able to shed any light or encourage any one of our viewers, maybe young viewers who they're probably out there thinking, I don't know what to do regarding this time of trouble that is coming. You know, I leave my job in the city. What do I do when I go in the country? You know, would you be able to shed some light on how to get into this? Would you be able to help anybody, like working through with AGMM and helping others to set up from their own little locations? I mean, that you could have a further think about, but just to give a little idea now, please.
Well, I live in Nigeria currently, and working online helps me to eat. Okay, if I may say so, just you know, informally. But you know, it helps to take care of some of my needs, and that's a good way to you know, work for God if you can online. Another way, and I think Joan and I, this is where I met Joan, we went on that medical missionary training. That's another field that is so broad and exceedingly, people are exceedingly desirous to be healed. Like here in Nigeria, for example, we have a lot of people with different ailments, and they're always coming to me because they know I had the medical missionary training. How do I heal my child of this ailment? Or how do I do this? Or how do I do this? And you realize that God is opening the opportunity for you to also give them the gospel, while you're helping to, you know, give them some herbal remedies on how to fix a problem or another, you know. So like there are so many jobs, so many fields, and we know that God has told us that the medical missionary field will be one of the last standing, you know, occupations out there that we should get ourselves involved in it now, because the amount of people that are going to be needing it are more than the grain of sand, you know, on the seashore. So I think that, you know, being in this school helps to prepare medical missionaries as well, right? And so medical missionary work will never be stale. It will always be current.
Amen.
Yeah, so that's a means that people can use to survive.
Amen. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you so much for blessing us today. It's been such a blessing to have you on the show. And we hope and pray that we will have part 2, you know, in the future shows. Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
One second, Sylvia. I know that you guys are running, but so many people have asked so many questions in the chat, and the questions are so pertinent. I don't know how I would be able to answer them for them. Like, would I just type back to them, or
you can go in the chat right now and start answering them as you can, or you can direct them to your website. Some people are asking, you know, your website. If you could go in the chat right now and continue there.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. God bless.
Bless you.
Thank you so much, Nicola and Sister Sylvie. Thank you for being such a good interviewer. We really enjoyed that. It was very informative. And of course, you can contact the website. Go to our website, you will get more information. And you can go to the Remnant Preparatory School website for further insights. We are now running over to see the one and only Jason Grant, who will be giving us further insight on relevant information, how to buy affordable homes in a crisis like this abroad for country living. Brother Jason, can you hear me? Jason?
Yeah, I can. I was just playing.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. How's everyone?
Welcome, Jason. We're good over here, and we are really glad to have you on the show. We have been waiting all day in our chairs with our pens and our papers ready for this presentation. How to buy affordable homes.
Well, it's a privilege to be here. Thank you very much.
All right. So Jason,
hello,
I just want to let you know that in your audience, you've got a lot of people like me, right? Single and poor. So tell me how I can get my country living home.
Okay, well, the only difference between you, yourselves, and me is I'm not single, but I am poor. Okay.
Right, good. We've got a lot like you as well.
So I know where we're all coming from. I haven't been in this business long. It's something I was introduced to earlier on this year. And in fact, the guy, I haven't known him that long, but in knowing the industry and meeting him and speaking to him on numerous occasions, I just had to get involved because I knew that this would be a huge blessing for the likes of us, where we don't have a lot of money, if any money at all, and we are all looking to get out into the country.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off with the assumption that we all know nothing about container homes, because this is what I'm going to talk about, container homes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, we do have a website, but it's not live yet. It's still being finalized. I will show you the site as it is at the moment, but I'll only show you certain aspects of it. So you'll get to see what the containers are, what they look like, dimensions, etc. And I'm going to go through it very short and succinct, because every single customer is dealt with on an individual level.
Yes.
No one is going to want the same thing. Okay. The budget will be different, the finance will be different, the home will be different. Now we have to deal with each individual customer obviously on an individual basis, simply because everyone's going to want different things probably. Okay, so I'm going to start off by showing you what a container is, for those of you that might not know. So I am going to share screen, bear with me. Dum, dum, dum. Right, can everyone see that? Can everyone see that?
Oh, yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is what a generic container looks like. Now, don't go by the color or anything, because that's not important. The importance is, and we're looking at the two images on the left, the 20-foot and the 40-foot. Now, each of those we do deal with. These are cargo containers that you generally find that people use for shipping, etc. We would normally advise that you would go for a 40-foot container. Firstly, because a 20-foot is is much smaller. Obviously, it's half the size, but with a 40-foot, as I've advised a few people already, even if you're not going to use all the space, if you only want something small, you've still got that extra storage space or anything there if you need it. And it's only arguably, it's not double the amount of money. It's a few £100s more, pretty much. Okay. As the dimensions there say, we've got the 20-foot or the 40-foot. Now, the 40-foot container, you'd be looking at less than £3,000. The 20-foot container is nearly £2,000. So for the sake of the extra so much, you've got so much more space there should you need it. Now, these containers are, if we just focus on the 40-foot long, The width is, you can go, it's about nearly 2.5 meters. Now 40 foot, for those of you that don't know, I had is about, I've forgotten how many meters it is. It's about 8 meters, I think, but it's 2.5 meters wide. So you, as a generic, you're looking at, if your general living room, it would be about maybe 5 times your living room sometimes, depending on how big it is. So we're going obviously length, you can, and width. Now this is just one container. Now, depending on what you want, if for someone you just want like a small 1 bed, or if you want a 2, 3, 4 bed, we would then look at how much space you need to build that and how many containers you would need. And you can actually we look at how many containers you need and then what is required to do this. So these are just the containers. I hope everyone is clear with that. That's what the container looks like. Once we have it in place, we would then have it all decorated, we'd have it all kitted out, etc. And we'd be then looking at can you see that?
Yes, we can see that, Jason.
Okay. So the image on the left here is a very small 20-footer. This image, the white one below it, is where we've used various containers. And this one's actually in Jamaica in St. Anne's. This is where we use various containers. We've fitted them together, we've basically cut and spliced them together, put the windows in, etc., cladded it, decorated it, and that is what it could prospectively look like for you. And there you got a nice, I don't like pink, but you got a nice pink one there as well. Okay, don't go for pink. I don't do pink, all right?
I like the pink, Jason.
Okay, we'll make allowances maybe, but you know. So that's generically, basically what it is. Now the process itself, let me come off that now. Do you want me to leave that on or?
You could leave it there so people could take a look at it while you talk about the process.
Okay. Yeah. With the process, the most important aspect of this process is initially we need the land. You need to either own the land or have permission to build on the land if you're not owning it. Okay, so if you're renting, you need the permission from the landowner to actually do what you're going to be doing. That's the most important aspect. What we would then do is sit down with you and look at exactly what you're looking at, what you want. We would look at what kind of design you're looking for, how many bedrooms you want, what other rooms you've got, the kitchen, living room, etc. The whole home. We'd look at the aspect of the whole home and we would decide how many containers you would need to do what it is you want to do. We would also have to survey the site where the land is to see how the ground is. Obviously, it would have to be prepared for the container to be level, etc., and depending on the size of the land required. Okay. We are willing to offer finance for these projects. So just for example, a single bed home, which would be probably just one 40-foot container. The 40-foot container, let's say for argument's sake, is £3,000. You would then need to look at the legal aspects, the surveillance of it, the design of your home, the building of your home, all of that. And I would say I would look at a budget ballpark figure of about £15,000. Now, £15,000 for a ready-made home in the site and the situ where you want it to be is not even a drop in the ocean of what you'd have to pay on this country or any other country. But with that, you would have a completely bespoke, tailored home for yourself. The finance, we would either help you finance or we put you in touch with someone we work with who would deal with the finance for you. So essentially what we would look to do is offer you a seamless, tailored service from right now. Let's say you came to me and say, Jason, I want to do this right now. we would then sit down with you and we would offer you everything you need. We'd help organize the finance, or you could put you in touch with someone to do the finance. And then we'd look at the design, the build, and the finished product right from the word go. That is essentially what we offer. Anything and everything that is needed along the way, we would organize and do, or help you to do. Any questions?
Yes, lovely. Jason.
Yeah.
Where do you offer the service to? Is it just the Caribbean, or what if someone is in Uganda or wants it to, they'll be going to Uganda for their country living? Do you do other places as well besides Jamaica?
So long as we can deliver a container there, we can offer you the service.
Oh, wonderful.
So the shipping the container anywhere in the world isn't a problem. It's making sure we can get the container from the port to where it is you want it to be. So obviously access to the site is very important as well for the container, because obviously it would have to be delivered by a huge flatbed lorry. So there'd have to be fairly decent access to where it is you want the container to be.
Okay, I know, considering that when you talk about country living, especially when you talk about the Caribbean, you may have some access, which is some really narrow roads up some hill where there isn't even proper roads, but tracks.
This is why I said access has to be, it needs to be accessible. I mean, if we're talking about like a 45-degree incline, might not be so accessible. So that is very important as to where it is. Also, if you want to live in the middle of the bush, there needs to be roads that we can access it there. Okay. I mean, it's important because obviously we're not talking about just, getting a 4x4 and driving there. We're talking about a big, heavy truck, a big, huge, heavy container to be delivered, or containers to be delivered there. So accessibility is very important and needs to be considered.
Okay, all right. Someone is asking, what if they already have a container on their land, but it needs conversion? Is that something that you do?
That's, by all means, we could do that too. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's something we can always discuss. Anything and everything to do with containers, the homes, we can do. Yeah.
So, all right, Jason, 1 minute, Sylvie. If someone like myself, who I'm here somewhere in the UK, how do I get my household stuff, like my television, my beds and stuff like that, in the container? Would I need to take them to you, to this container, or will the container come to me, or how will that part go?
This is the beauty of containers. You tell us what you want to do. We would organize the container. And then what we would say to you is, right, you need to decide what you want to go over to where your container is going to be. And obviously where you're going to stay in the meantime. Because what we would then suggest is you put everything you want to go to your new home, put that in the container. Once we've bought the container for you, you put that in the container, and that would be shipped with the container over to where it is you want to go. Now, the beauty of this is it doesn't cost you anything to ship it over, because you're already shipping the container over. So whatever is inside the container, it could be your home, not your home, it could be all your belongings in your home, it could be your car, whatever it is you want to ship over there, you can take it over into the container. Whatever's in the container is all part and parcel of the container storage, and you just take the container and ship it over. The downside to this is, if you still need to have living accommodation while we're doing this for you, you might have to keep a chair or a stool back and sit it in the middle of the room.
Or stay with a friend in the meantime.
Or stay with a friend mainly.
Okay, all right. Someone was asking, I mean, like in a hot country like Jamaica or Africa, won't you steam in the containers? How will we address the heat?
The containers would be cladded. So obviously if it's cold, they would be insulated, but otherwise we'd put the windows in. We could put whatever is possible in a normal home is possible in a container, but it's so much easier. So we can put air conditioning units if you want. We could even put solar panels, so it's all self-sustained for power. Put windows, skylights, whatever you want, and all that would be sorted out. This is something in the design stage. If you're saying you're going to a very hot country, we would look at what is required for you to live comfortably in that country, in that home.
Hi, Jason.
Sorry, and everything would be looked at as in whatever you want, we can do for you. But obviously, this all comes within how much the overall package would cost.
Okay, so it will be like on an individual basis what you need. All right,
Exactly.
Sylvie had her hand up. She wanted to ask a question. Then I heard Pastor Sam in the background as well. So
Okay.
Sylvie, then Pastor Sam.
Yes, thank you so much, Jason.
That's okay.
Somebody's asking a question. Can you use the containers as an extension to a house?
Yes, you can. So if you have a house already in wherever, not in this country, I wouldn't suggest you do it, but obviously in the Caribbean or Africa or somewhere, we can then also ship the container over, add it onto the house and decorate it, clad it up, and do whatever it is you want it to be done to be added onto the house. That is not a problem. As I said, anything you can possibly do with a container, we would be able to do for you.
Fantastic.
So yes, it can be added on.
Yes, thank you so much, Jason. Another question is, another person is asking, how durable are the containers house as, compared to the normal house?
I like to say the best structure you could ever have is a pyramid, because a pyramid withstands all the weathers, everything. The next best, I would say, is a container, because it's heavy, it's durable, it's made of a steel that is that's created to withstand anything that can possibly come at it. This shows all the insulation here. I've got some information, where is it, on the website, which gives us information about the actual steel itself. It's made of such a steel that is built and created to withstand any kind of weather conditions, because these containers pretty much, I'm not going to say last forever, because nothing will last forever, but these containers should last far longer than any house, any brick house or any kind of house that you would normally build. So these are complete, I would say these are probably the best thing to build a house from.
Okay. Would you then do a double-storied house with them?
You can put them on top of each other. You could have 3-4 containers on top of each other. You could have them crisscross on top of each other. Like I said, whatever you can possibly, if you think about building a house with huge Lego bricks, that's essentially what you're doing.
Wow,
these are
fantastic.
Consider these to be Lego bricks, and you're building a house from them. That's exactly what you're doing. So whatever can be made with these rectangular bricks, whatever we can do with rectangular bricks, this is what we can do with it for you.
But how long will the whole process take? If say somebody came to you and say, I have to ship my stuff from here from UK to Uganda, and how long will that whole process take you the moment you land in Uganda?
Okay, so with the assumption that the design is all agreed and signed off, the design and the finance is all in place and everything is ready to go, from the moment we get the containers to Uganda, for example, or Jamaica, wherever it is, we could probably have it ready for you, depending on the size of it. If it's just one container made into a single bed home, you'd probably be looking at maybe a couple of months. That's being conservative. If we're looking at like maybe a 5-6 bed, 3 or 4 months maybe. It's more okay. I can't say it's a definitive time, but it's more a case of what's actually involved. If there's going to be so much more elaborate things on there, like the solar panels, all the different kind of self-sustenance for energy, etc., that can take a little bit longer. But it really depends on what is involved. On a general basis, the average home, 3 months, let's say.
Okay. Then if we agree everything, who deals with the release of the container when it reaches to its destination?
As soon as we get the container to the port, if it's Jamaica or Uganda, we would then transport the container to the site where you want it to be. Now, as to ideally, if it's yourself, for example, yourself or someone would need to be able to guide us and tell us exactly how you want it situated, where it's going to be. That would normally be the procedure. And then we would just build it from there. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Maybe I just wanted you to touch on who does the clearing. You know, the immigration and stuff, clearing of the
all the
container.
cargo and everything. We do all that. We organize all that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just a container. What's inside of it is not overly important, as long as you're not talking about money, drugs, all that kind of stuff. Are you?
No.
Thank you very much, Jason. Pastor Sam Davis, I know you had a question as well.
Jason, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to hear from you. How are you?
See you, man. Good to see you.
I hear you're doing good things.
The Lord is good. Everybody, I married this guy, so it's good to see him. Jason, just wanted to find out how once you put this structure in place.
Yeah.
It's fixed. It's not portable, is it?
It is fixed, but just like really depending on how it's put together, it is possible to be broken down again and transported if possible. In the respect of it depends how it's put together. I mean, if you've got two containers you put together like this, then they would probably be welded together, etc.
Yeah.
They can be cut apart again, broken down, cut apart again. It's not the ideal situation. It probably works out better just to build a whole new house.
Okay.
Because obviously at the end of the day, these aren't really overly expensive, but yeah, I mean, it's always possible to do.
But they're not designed really to be moved, because once you put it on the ground, you've got all the plumbing, all the electricity in place. So it's really a fixed object.
Ideally, it would be, yeah. Like I said, it isn't absolutely that way, but it can be broken down and moved. But in an ideal situation, it would be made to be a permanent structure.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jason, there is a number of questions from people who are living in the UK, if that's a possibility for life in the UK. What are the legal?
To build these in the UK? Oh, wow. The UK, if you want to do it in the UK, of course you can. We can do it anywhere. It's just UK is under, there are a lot of European policies, planning, protocols you have to go through. Very, very difficult. But if you have the land and if you have permission, etc., we would do the designs. Those would have to go through planning permission with the local authority. If all that goes through and everything's like that, then of course it's possible to do it here as well. Yeah, by all means. It's just the whole process you have to go through is like 10 times longer and worse.
Okay. All right. Another question, Jason. Are the containers brand new or are they reused? Because someone is asking, is there any way of guaranteeing that they have not been used to transport toxic materials?
All containers we buy and use are brand new, just like the ones you see in the images. They're brand new. We do have the option to buy used containers if someone wanted a used one. They would make it slightly cheaper, but I wouldn't suggest that because, as has been said, you don't know what it was used for before. Okay. So these are brand new, untouched, basically, yeah.
Okay.
That's guaranteed.
Davina, just have another question.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Hi, Jason. It's Sam's wife, Rowena.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Oh, good. Right, now, the concept that you're thinking about, I've been thinking about, but I need it to be portable. When I say portable, I need it to be classified as portable. Not that I want to move it. So to be able to get permission to erect it, it must have the possibility of moving. That's all I need.
Okay. Well, then I suppose what would determine that would be, I mean, are you looking at just one large container, like a 40-foot one, you can use one, or are you talking about various ones stuck together?
No more than 2, if that much.
Okay, so what we would do, if you're looking to do something like that, we could look at how we would put them together, how we would design it, the structure, to give it the option to be portable. So we would then design it with an option to be portable should it be required at a later time. So we would look at that in the whole design process, of course.
Okay.
So like I said, if we're looking at 3 or 4 containers, that's going to be a whole lot more difficult.
No, it's just a small thing.
Yeah, by all means, I'm sure we can look into that, and we'll look at the feasibility of that. Sorry, say that again.
We'll have to speak later.
Yeah, by all means,
I
of
think
course.
we'll have to speak later. I think Sam's got your number.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're open to speak to everyone on an individual basis. What I can do is I'll show the screen for contact for my colleague, Andre, which is this one. So his email is Dre, D-R-E.
Okay.
At homih.com, HOMIH.com.
Okay.
Now the website, when it goes live, will be homih.com. I will give the details to Michelle or Davina or whoever to put out into the group when it's actually live.
We will put it on our website. We'll put the link on our website.
By all means. It was supposed to go live this week just gone, but there's been a couple of complications, so we're still working on that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. That has been absolutely informative.
There, so we just want to say thank you. Just to say that all the questions who have been posted in the chat about Jason's talk today, you can go on our site and get the information there. So don't panic, go on site. You can get the information there. Just contact us and we will get the information. You can get the information from us there. Okay, so as we're wrapping everything up, I think it's come to that timely point when we say you can see all the great work that has been going on by God's grace here. All the presenters, we want to say a big thank you to them. But we also want to say a big thank you for all those of you who've joined us, and we are asking you to continue to help us in terms of donating your funds on whenever you can give a free will offering to keep the program, to keep the AGMM program going every single week and not just weekly. There's lots of other things like the Bible studies, there's the sewing classes, there's courses that are coming up starting very soon. And so we need your support and your donations there. So please continue to donate. Thank you very much for joining us and continue to join us every week. I'm handing it back to you now, Sylvie or Michelle. God bless you.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you very much. And thank you so much, everyone. I just want to shout out a big thank you to our presenters today. It's been such a fantastic show, and all the information that you need, go right to our website. If you want a replay, you can visit the YouTube or the website, or the recordings will be there. We just want to thank you so much for your continuous support. If you support us, we'll go far. We work together. Let's work together to finish God's work. Okay? Our Lord Jesus Christ is coming, and we need to work together. To work together, guys, so we can finish the work. And this is why AGMM has been started, and we are working, we are going forward, we are growing strength day by day. So please, 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 like Louise has just said, visit our website. So many content is gonna be filled up there. If you need any information, if you need to consult one of us, go on the website and contact us, okay? Unless if there's anything else, I think I'll hand it back to Davina. Is it Davina? Just to close with prayer so we can end this show today.
Okay, thank you very much, Sylvie. Thank you very much, our panelists, all of AGMM's team, and our faithful viewers. We will now close in prayer, and just remember to keep checking our website for all our soon coming events. Dear Lord, we want to give you thanks for this afternoon's program. We ask that your Holy Spirit continue to lead and guide us. We ask that your blessings continue to be upon this show. May your audience continue to benefit, and may the presenters continue to share, oh Lord, the gift that you have given unto them to share with the public. Ask you now for your many blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming.